welcome to Páirc Uí Chaoimh for the 1999 TSB Senior Hurling Championship Final. Blackrock take to the field. What a final we have in prospect. Two of the heavy hitters of this year's championship. As we said, UCC seeking just their third county title, and Blackrock, well, they're out in front. They're looking for their 30th. Well, joining me in the commentary box today is Tomás Mulcahy. Tomás, firstly, a word on the conditions, a blustery wind out there.
Yes, a very strong wind, Des, and hopefully it won't be a game of two halves, but I mean, it seems to be blowing down into the Blackrock end, and to be interested to see who wins the toss and whichever way they play. And I'm sure if you're playing with the wind, you'll be looking for every advantage in that first half period, and if you're playing against it, you'll be hoping that you'll stop maybe goals going in and maybe accept it, maybe going in at half time, maybe 5 or 6 points in arrears. Well,
Blackrock out early, is that an omen, we wonder? Some key men on their side, of course. They've got an all-star backline, you could say, Tomás, but their key men could be up front. We're talking about the likes of Brian O'Keefe here and Alan Brown.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of questions asked about Blackrock in the drawn match against the Finbars, but credit to Alan Brown and to Brian O'Keefe. They really came up trumps in the second day, and Brian O'Keefe especially, I think he's a bit of an unsung hero with Blackrock at the moment. He's had a terrific year with them. Everybody seems to know Alan Brown's capabilities and whether his best position is maybe a half forward or full forward. I certainly think full forward is his best position, and he is certainly going to be a handful for anybody that he plays against.
Yeah, speaking of Brian O'Keefe there, 4-12 he scored in the championship, and speaking to Canon Michael O'Brien in the build-up to this one, I put it to him that goals could be vital, and if they are, he could be the man.
Yes, and I mean, I think that a venue like Páirc Uí Chaoimh will suit Brian O'Keefe as well. Big open spaces, playing in a corner forward position. He has a good tendency to come in close to Alan Brown and pick up the breaking ball, and he's very, very strong in that situation. He's a very, very good goal poacher, but he's a man that can also score excellent points as well.
Certainly, very much so. Blackrock, of course, looking for their 30th title, steeped in tradition, but no win since '85. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, but I mean, I suppose the one thing that's going to spur Blackrock, I mean, the difference between winning and losing the county championship is immense. They had that feeling last year, losing to Killy. They'll want to bounce back. They won't want to make it 2 in a row, and they certainly will be driving it on today. And I think a good start is vital to Blackrock today. They haven't started well in their championship games today. They've let the opposition dictate things and left it very late for them to actually come back and win games. Now, it has worked well for them in the past. Whether it works well today against the UCC team remains to be seen.
Yeah, still no sign of the college. Tomás, Dr. Paddy Crowley obviously just giving them their last words of advice. What will be being said down in the UCC dressing room at the moment?
Well, I suppose, I mean, the big advantage college had in the last couple of weeks. I think a lot of the lads are back in college. They've had a very good training schedule, I think, over that 4-week period. They've trained over the bank holiday weekend. I think Paddy Crowley said they trained Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So, I mean, they've prepared very, very well. You're in the dressing room scenario now. I suppose it's trying to keep it as cool as possible if you can in a county final situation, and go out and just treat it as another game. I mean, there can be a lot of hype. I mean, there can be a lot of roaring in the dressing room and things like that. Guys have got to relax, because it is just another game of hurling, and if you go out and perform like they did the last day, they're going to be very, very hard to beat.
Yeah, people may say, of course, look at the students as it is. Of course, it's going to be a young side going out there, but lots and lots of senior experience on this side as we're looking at them. They're just about to come out here. Dennis Toomey, well, he should be leading them out in there somewhere. No sign of him yet, but there is a lot of senior experience in there, Tomás.
There is. I mean, when you go through their team, I mean, they're guys with exceptional experience. And if you look at kind of the inter-county men, you're looking at the Enrights, Johnny and Eddie, who played with Tipperary. You're looking at Owen Bennett and Dave Bennett of Waterford, who have played with Waterford. And of course, you're looking at Joe Dean, who's had a fantastic year with Cork and has represented the college so well down through the years. And they have a star-studded team. So in Richie Flannery, who's played under 21 with Tipperary this year. And they sure are. And they've proved it this year. They've played a good amount of games, and they've proved to be very, very deserving finalists at this stage because of the quality of hurling that they've actually played.
Well, here they come, Tomás. People are saying they mightn't have the biggest of support, but they're making themselves heard here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Yes, I mean, it's a big occasion, county final day, especially, I suppose, when Cork have won an All-Ireland final as well. There's the added interest. People want to come down and see, as they've said in the past, the mini All-Ireland, and I'm sure there's a lot of interest up in UCC as well. I mean, they're doing well to keep hurling going there at this stage as well, and I'm sure people from the college will be anxious that they get maybe the first half of the double this year because they're playing again in the county football final next weekend as well.
Right, we've spoken of some of Blackrock's key men. Keys for UCC, Tomás, obviously Joe Dean.
Yes, I mean, everybody is talking about Joe Dean, I suppose. I mean, against the McKinney the last day, Joe Dean was held for a good 55 minutes of the game, but within the 5-minute period, he turned the game on its head and actually won the game for UCC. But they've some other very good players themselves as well. I think one guy, I suppose, that stood out to me the last day, again against the McKinney, was a guy called Owen Bennett. I mean, he had a fantastic outing, and the likes of John Kingston as well. I mean, back from the States after being there for the summer, he played very well against Glen Rovers in the qualifying, played very well against the McKinney the last day as well, and they'll be looking for him to repeat those performances as well, and that maybe could take a little bit of pressure off of Joe Dean again. I mean, if they have other forwards that can score for them, it certainly will take the pressure off Joe.
Thanks, Tomas. Certainly promises to be an intriguing battle. We'll run down the teams for you now in full, starting with UCC in goal. A man in great form in recent times, Brendan Kelly of Ballincollig. The full back line, number 2, Dennis Toomey, the captain, Niall Murphy of Mungret, and Luke Mannix of Fermoy at left corner back. The half back line, well, it's Pat Mann of Laois, Dan Murphy of Cork, and Bill Hart. Well, he starts at number 7 in a change that wasn't exactly predicted. The midfield, Eddie Enright and Richie Flannery. The half forward, Johnny Enright, John O'Brien and Dave Bennett. And the full forward line, Owen Bennett, John Kingston and Joe Dean. For Blackrock, well, another goalkeeper in form is Trevor Barry. There's Wayne Sherlock, Noel Keane and John Brown. What a formidable full back line. The half back line, not bad either. Aidan Ryan, Jim Cashman and Fergal Ryan. In the middle, Michael Harrington comes in alongside Alan Cummins. The half forward line, Barry Hennebury, starts with Liam Meany and Adrian Collin. And the full forward line, Brian O'Keefe, Alan Brown and Sean Coakley. The Castle Lions pipe band's rendition of our own Navian. It's going to be UCC to play from left to right with the aid of the elements. And Tomas, first thing we see, several switches in the UCC forward line. Joe Dean is gone into full forward. Eddie Enright, or Johnny Enright rather, has gone into left corner. Dave Bennett, right half.
Yes, I mean, everybody maybe predicted that Joe would go to full forward. It's been his position all year with the county side as well, you know, and played maybe left corner forward at college in most of the games. But this county final is going to suit Joe in around the square, a big pitch like Parky Cleeve again, and if he gets the right possession, he could give Noel Keane certainly a lot of trouble. But Noel Keane has been the stalwart of Blackrock in their last few matches. He's played very, very well at full back, so it's going to be an interesting duel there.
Certainly will. Just 60 minutes to decide the destination of this year's TSB Senior Hurling Championship. Our referee is John Motherway. He's refereed all of Blackrock's games, whether there's an omen there or not. We'll have to wait and see. As we said, UCC playing with the elements from left to right. We're just about to get underway at Parky Cleeve, and away we go. And straight away going back, it's Dan Murphy wearing 6, but he's switched out to left half back in a switch with Bill Hart. Brian O'Keefe coming out to field to take it, spotting him on inside. It's Adrian Collin. Hart getting back to Amini, first touch, not a good one. And Dan Murphy can clear down towards his half forward line. Lovely turn, and UCC are coming away with it. That was John O'Brien playing it inside, not a good ball though. And Jim Cashman, well, what an experienced player, getting it clear as far as Dave Bennett. Lots of trickery. Bennett in towards his brother, beaten away. John Kingston still in there battling with Aidan Ryan, and eventually coming away with it is Wayne Sherlock. Looked to have his hurley tug by Joe Dean, but got his clearance in, dropping in the middle of the field. Up and a brilliant catch from Richie Flannery. Closed down very quickly though by Alan Cummins. Meany in there as well. Well, coming very deeply, and Meany starting at centre half forward. Has played in midfield in this championship campaign for Blackrock though, as Kingston tries to pick that one up. First scoring chance, it's with Dave Bennett. Doesn't usually miss. First score of the game, a minute gone. Dave Bennett, another one of today's key figures, Tomas.
Yeah, great score, and that's what Dave does well. I mean, he's watching the breaking play all the time, and John Kingston and Jim Cashman went in for a nice little tussle, and the ball broke, and it was an excellent score by Dave Bennett.
Well, the first puck out of the game now is going to come from Trevor Barry. This will give us an indication of the strength of the wind. Well, Barry also wearing a baseball cap. Might be a touch of the sun in his eyes as well as he drives this one. Will it make the halfway? It just about will. Rising up there, great take by Harrington against Flannery. Michael Harrington, Dave Bennett trying to get in the challenge. Alan Cummins though finds himself in some space, quickly closed down in a frantic opening. Bill Hart, Cummins follows through and makes the block down. Pat Mahon, not a good clearance. Collin, can he tie things up here? Adrian Collin, he's done it. Well, it took just 47 seconds to reply. Adrian Collin on the mark, a point apiece. Well, Trevor Barry getting his puck out as far as the halfway line to Moss, but there is still very strong breeze out there.
Yes, and this is very evident in the puck out again from Brendan Kelly. That's right down to the half forward line, you know. So, I mean, College are playing with a strong wind in this first half.
Now, Barry Hennebury, his first touch of the game. His tussle with Dan Murphy should be a good one. Murphy, though, is cut inside, and this time he's trying to get away from Alan Cummins. Turning onto his left-hand side, and he's still going Dan Murphy. Eventually it's Aidan Ryan coming to meet him. Sherlock too tried to get Johnny Enright in there, but it's John Brown coming across to make the clearance. One of 4 All-Ireland medal winners, of course, on the Blackrock side, and they bring an awful lot of steel to that defence. But Barry Hennebury there, interesting addition to the Blackrock side tonight, starting this afternoon, Tomas.
Yes, and that was great play by Dan Murphy to come all the way down the field, and maybe the resulting clearance from Blackrock, if it found Dan Murphy's marker, could have caused trouble from then at that stage, because he did go very far down into the field.
Now Johnny Enright chopping it in towards Dean. Noel Keane is in there with him. Keane would have the physical advantage, but Joe Dean is deceptively strong, very quick. It's Cashman to get it clear as far as Michael Harrington. Just below our commentary position, Sean Coakley gets it from Dennis Toomey, the UCC captain, playing it into space, and Brian O'Keefe is all alone out there with Luke Mannix, and he's turned inside here. O'Keefe, the goal poacher supreme, Brendan Kelly comes out to make the challenge, and Kelly has done well. Danger still not cleared. Luke Mannix half blocked down, and the race is on the far side. Mannix and Barry Hennebury, neither of them can get to it. Getting back there and fouled. It looked like he was fouled, Eddie Enright, and yes, well, it's been given as a 65. But just for a moment there, that's the danger of Brian O'Keefe. He'll have to be watched for the full hour.
Yeah, no, great catch initially by Sean Coakley. I mean, a light-sized man, but a great ball to actually catch out of the air, and gave a great ball across the field, and that's where Brian O'Keefe is most dangerous. He got in behind his marker, and maybe it was a bit unlucky that he didn't get a shot in on goal.
So the 65 to be taken by Aidan Ryan, and that's just gone straight up in the air. There's an indication of the breeze if we wanted one. Great fetch. I think it's Alan Cummins in there. It's Alan Brown. Brown going for goal. Half blocked down. Still confusion inside in that area. Liam Meaney with the snapshot. Well, Blackrock claim is 65 and they're going to get it. But Alan Brown and Niall Murphy, 2 big men on the edge of that square. And Brown could have a big say in this one. It's going to be a tough 60 minutes for Niall Murphy, Tomas.
Yes, and I mean, as applies, was Blackrock, every time they're going to get possession in this first half especially, they're going to drive it if they can into the square to Alan Brown, because he's a marvellous hand, and every time he goes up, he certainly comes down with a ball. And interesting enough there that, I mean, if he got a hand pass out, it could have caused a lot more trouble for UCC. There's a tendency to throw the ball up, and he has this habit of getting blocked, maybe rather than maybe hand passing the ball out.
So approaching 5 minutes gone, it's going to be a change of tactics here. Jim Cashman is going to strike this one. Well, he's got the distance, but the accuracy just fading to the right and wide. But Jim Cashman showing that he does have the range if they do get any more of those 65s or frees in the UCC half of the field. Now Brendan Kelly's been in sparkling form in the championship so far. The Ballincollig man still, of course, challenging on the intermediate front as Ryan against Bennett. That will be one of the tosses of the day, surely. And trying to come away with it on this half of the field is Pat Mann of Laois. Last touch, the UCC man, yes. Line ball to Blackrock, and that will be taken by Fergal Ryan. Well, Ryan started at midfield in that semi-final replay against St. Finbarrs after, of course, getting that injury time goal to bring that semi-final to a replay. But when the pressure was on, switched into the half-back line where he's, of course, most comfortable. So Ryan with the puck out, with the sideline ball, rather. Pat Mahan, though, showing good strength. Mahan, Liam Meaney in with the block, and that's down into the corner for Alan Brown. The chase is on here. Brown against Murphy. The ball will hold up. And who will prove the stronger here? Well, it's going to be a real physical battle between those two. Brown has it. Can he get his cross in? It's a decent looking ball indeed. Brian O'Keefe against Mannix, and O'Keefe is in once again. Oh, great defending by Dan Murphy, getting across, but the clearance comes only as far as Colin. It should be the lead score, and it is for Blackrock. Adrian Colin. But Brian O'Keefe, well, just on 2 occasions he's had a sniff, a look at goal, just the control letting him down at the vital moment.
Yeah, and the pitch is probably making it a bit difficult for players. I mean, their first touch, certainly the ball isn't coming up, so it's staying there around a lot longer than it should. And Brian O'Keefe again showed how difficult an opponent he's going to be for Luke Mannix.
Now the puck out has come only as far as Michael Harrington, making good ground and spotting a man free outside. That's Barry Hennebury, and coming back all the way to meet him is John O'Brien. Hennebury gets his shot in. Brilliant score. Absolutely superb score from Barry Hennebury. Well, he scored 1-5 in the championship to date, and he's off the mark here in the county final. And Blackrock lead by 3 points to 1 with 7 minutes played. But can Richie Flannery do something about this? Brilliant catch in towards Dean. Keane is there as well. Just escapes from his grasp. Manages to get his clearance in at the second time of asking. John Kingston battling with Jim Cashman, and coming out to meet it is Enright. And he's come very deep from his corner position. Back for Flannery again. Flannery looking to make some space. Dean, good chance for Joe Dean. First chance for Joe Dean. But he's put it across the face of the goal and wide. Well, uncharacteristic, we shall say, but he will get his chances. It's just a question of how many of them he'll take.
Yes, and I mean, high balls going into the square certainly aren't suiting Joe, you know, and up against the man of the calibre of Noel Keane. Noel certainly doesn't take any prisoners around there, and when the ball breaks, it's been cleared out very, very quickly. But it was an opportunity for a point, and he failed to take that chance.
Well, Richie Flannery is one for UCC who started well, Tomas. Bill Hart starting means no place, of course, for Stefan Fitzpatrick. Perhaps a surprise there.
Yes, a bit of surprise, I suppose. All right, you know, he's played in a few of the games this year, Stefan, and played reasonably well with the college. And Bill Hart obviously must have been going very well in training that he's included in the team from the start.
Now Dave Bennett coming forward onto this one. Well, a throwback to the old days, Bennett. Very flashy type of player. And on that occasion, just muscled out of it. And it's Adrian Calling getting back there. What resolve from the Blackrock half forward. That's beaten both Brown and Murphy. It's come for Brian O'Keefe. He'll try and take his point here, but enough pressure applied by Luke Mannix. It's not going to go out, and Brendan Kelly has kept it in. As far as Dan Murphy, Murphy has all the time in the world to get his clearance in here. Sean Coakley, the nearest man to him. Murphy launches a huge ball down towards Dean, out ahead of Keane. But Wayne Sherlock doing his cornerback duties to perfection there, covering behind his fullback, waiting for the break and getting the clearance in down towards, well, a tussle there on the far side of the field has been won by Eddie Enright, and the Thurles Stars and Tipperary Senior has done well. He's been a key figure as well in this year's championship, and the free will be taken by Dave Bennett on that far side. Well, this again should give a good indication of the breeze. Bennett, well, he's been a good scorer for UCC in the championship, as our referee is heading down in towards, it looks like Wayne Sherlock and Johnny Enright. Just going to have a quick word, nothing too serious there, just telling him to calm it down. And so 9.5 minutes gone at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Dave Bennett to reduce the gap to the bare minimum. If he can land this one just on the halfway line, well, will it carry? Don't think it will. Noel Keane taking no chances, batting that one out. Enright first to react. Great defence from Sherlock. Well, he claims a wide ball. But the umpire quickly on the spot there has given the 65 and another chance perhaps for Dave Bennett. Well, it's been a very good opening to this one, and the pitch, it must be said, given all the weather conditions we've had as of late, is holding up very well indeed. So Bennett taking his time, stepping up and striking. It certainly got the distance. Yes, the umpires, no hesitation, straight over the bar, and the gap is back to a single point. 2 points for Dave Bennett, 2 points for UCC, 3 for Blackrock. Tomas free taking, we better mention that as well, of course. Both defences will have to be very disciplined because we've got good free takers on each side.
Yes, I suppose on a day like today, when conditions are heavy enough, you know, free taking can form a vital part of the game, and certainly both defences would be anxious not to give away any frees or even concede 65s, because with the likes of Dave Bennett around and obviously Adrian Collar on the other side for Blackrock, they will punish it certainly. Now
O'Keefe against Mannix once again. O'Keefe has started very brightly off the left hand side. Brown is holding off Murphy here. Murphy will have to be careful. He's doing well though, and with a little help from Bill Hart, they've managed to get their clearance in. Luke Mannix once again against Brian O'Keefe. Barry Hennebrey in there tussling with Dan Murphy. Stalemate just for a moment until Liam Meaney comes across, picks it up. Well, will he go for his score? He will. Liam Meaney, yes, the umpires once again, no hesitation. We've seen 2 excellent scores there. The latest from Liam Meaney. Well, he hasn't been scoring too heavily, but a very good addition to the Blackrock camp this year, Liam Meaney.
Yes, and the half-hour line of Blackrock are certainly causing troubles for the college half-back. That's the 3 half-hours now having scored, and certainly Adrian Collin is dropping back into midfield and picking up a lot of loose possession around there, and it's given the inside forwards actually a lot more room, because I think college now have actually tried to rectify this. They're actually bringing Luke Mannix out to half-back and switching Pat Mahan back into cornerback.
Well, the dropping ball down there, and it is Mahan against O'Keefe. Coming back to help out is Eddie Enright. And Enright gets his clearance in down towards his brother Johnny. The 2 Thurles Stars men together. John Kingston goes down into the challenge of Aidan Ryan. And it's going to be a line ball to UCC. Well, it's going to be Eddie Enright to take this one. As we said, one of those with a lot of senior experience, of course. So Enright assessing his options here. Well, they've taken these short line balls in the past, but this one straight inside towards Dean. Well, challenge from behind by Noel Keane. Well, they'll have to be very careful indeed, and a few words being exchanged between Owen Bennett and Noel Keane, but that's better from Joe Dean, getting out first, getting out ahead of Noel Keane. That's what he'll have to do.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen a ball going actually in front of Joe, and that's the ball that he likes, actually hopping in front of him. When he's out in front of Noel at that stage, and Noel had no option but actually to foul him.
So should be no problems here for Joe Dean. 12.5 minutes gone, and the sides, well, I was going to say the sides are level, but of course Liam Meany's point had stretched Blackrock's total to 4. So it's now Blackrock 4, UCC 3. Just a single point in it. Well, both these sides have been scoring very heavily in the championship, but speaking to both camps in the build-up to this one, didn't feel that it would be the most high-scoring of games, perhaps testament to the two strong backlines we've got here as Trevor Barry's puck out will once again reach the middle of the field. That's Eddie Enright against Michael Harrington. The breaking ball has come for Bill Hart. Good pressure on Hart, though. He's surrounded by 3 Blackrock men, and it's forced Luke Mannix in his new position of right half back to come back and clear. It'll be Mannix and Adrian Collin. Now Owen Bennett against John Brown. Jim Cashman getting the clearance in down towards Alan Cummins. The breaking ball has come for Dave Bennett. Nice turn inside too, and dragged to the ground rugby style by Alan Cummins. The easiest decision that John Motherway has had to make in this match so far. And well, Paddy Crowley down below issuing the instructions. Is they going to ask Joe Dean to come out and take this one? Well, that appears to be it, but Dave Bennett, well, assuming the responsibility. 2 equally talented free takers for UCC. Always an advantage as Bennett, well, tried to use the breeze to curl that one in, but didn't quite catch it right. He seemed to be assuming the breeze would bring it in from the far side, Tomas, but it seems to be going straight down the pitch.
That's right, but there was a loud screams from the college backroom team there to actually for Joe to come out and actually take that free, because we've seen Joe on the passes. Well, he's so accurate from those positions, and maybe that's one that they could actually root to when they miss like that. They could actually root out Chaz missing when it comes to the end of the game.
In the midfield once again, Liam Meany dropping back to try and help out. Jim Cashman though winning, and as a result there's space on the far side for Michael Harrington. Harrington launching a huge ball in towards Alan Brown. Route 1, Murphy doing just enough, and Brendan Kelly out quickly. Very alert goalkeeper getting his clearance in down below us. It's Cummins against Richie Flannery. Flannery gets the better of him in that occasion. John Kingston almost away from Cashman. Slight slip though in the turf. Studs just catching. Fergal Ryan getting back. Not a great clearance. Dave Bennett, strong challenge, and a well use of the boots there from Owen Bennett, but no advantage for UCC. Coakley started very promisingly indeed with limited amount of possession as Bill Hart gets back there, gets his clearance in. Now Owen Bennett, what can he do from here? Looks inside, finds his brother, the two Lismore men together, and there's the ball in towards Dean. Dean against Noel Keane. Keane will appear to jump into the UCC full forward there. Well, very strong physical player. And Joe Dean will know he's in for a tough hour here. Now Meany has it once again off his left-hand side. Alan Brown trying to isolate himself against Niall Murphy. Murphy no slouch though, getting back the Mungret man, and with a little help from Bill Hart, getting his clearance in, but really no one in midfield for UCC. It's opened it up for Harrington. It's going though to the right and wide. Well, another opportunity gone a begging. Michael Harrington has appeared to have a little more space than he realised. Well, we're midway through the first half, and it's still Blackrock 4, UCC 3. Cummins, good take, and getting away from Bennett. Good strength from Alan Cummins, and once again he's all the time in the world. He doesn't take his opportunity. 2 misses. Well, Tomas, there's an awful lot of space around the midfield area here, but neither side taking advantage of it.
Yes, 2 opportunities there for Blackrock to push themselves further ahead, and they failed to take those chances. But it's interesting to note that they're trying to isolate Joe Dean inside against Noel Keane, but they're certainly giving them the wrong type of possession, and Noel Keane certainly is on top in that battle at the moment.
Yes, we've seen it all through the year. The ball in low is what Joe Dean wants, very quick, and his close control very good indeed, and so too is this man's Brian O'Keefe, trying to get away from it's Pat Mahan over there. They've got a man in space. It's Liam Meany. Surely this time, yes, this one's gone over. Second point for Liam Meany. And Blackrock's advantage is back to 2. He started well, Liam Meany, Tomas.
Yes, the half hour line I said previously there is doing very, very well, and the college backline is at 6s and 7s at this stage, and when when Blackrock seem to take them on, I mean Brian O'Keefe again in that instance there, and draws the man out. He's guy inside and gives him the good hand pass, and a great score by Liam Meany.
Now Harrington once again battling with Eddie Enright, and Harrington is the winner. Well, he started at half forward in some of the games for Blackrock, but he appears to have a very good engine indeed. Getting it out to Brian O'Keefe, dropping that one in, but across the face of the goal and wide. Well, another chance, gonna begging for Blackrock. Both these teams, of course, have a tendency just to fall asleep at various stages in games, Tomas, and they'll be hoping that they can limit that if it does happen today.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the game now, there's Blackrock certainly are on top in most positions around the field, and we've yet to see anything really from the college. And Sean Coakley here at left corner forward is playing very, very well as well. And Brian O'Keefe as well.
Sorry, Tomas, towards O'Keefe, going for goal. It's come off the post. O'Keefe again. Oh, brilliant save from Brendan Kelly. Absolutely superb. Well, he may even have got a touch in the first one, Tomas, I'm not quite sure. But either way, Brian O'Keefe looks on ruefully. What a save. He's been doing that all through the championship, Brendan Kelly.
Yeah, superb goalkeeper, and that's not the first time we've seen saves like that. And that would have been a great boost to Blackrock to get a goal like that against the Win. But give credit to Brendan Kelly. 2 excellent stops. I mean, maybe the first one came off the post, but certainly from point blank range, Brian O'Keefe, you would say, there was a goal all over it, but it was a marvellous, marvellous save.
Absolutely superb. With 18 minutes gone, Brendan Kelly, well, dare we say, he broke the hearts of Glen Rovers in this year's championship. Tomas, he had a pretty good outing then, and he started well here as well as Jim Cashman. 18.5 minutes gone, steps up. Well, once again, it appears to be drifting to the right. It's not going to carry, though, and O'Keefe in there once again, while claiming the free against Pat Mann. Never going to be given, though, and Brendan Kelly, well, that's better. That's the UCC game, playing it quickly, getting it to Eddie Enright, launching it down towards Dean, and this time he's out ahead and isolated against Keane, but the Blackrock defence, they've read that move, and they're back and they're covering in numbers. It's Wayne Sherlock to get it clear. Doesn't get too much on it, though. And a chance sent back in by Flannery, cut out by Fergal Ryan, down towards Coakley once again. Well, going up reminiscent of Shawnee McGrath, trying to take it down one-handed, but the captain, Dennis Toomey, sticking to his guns. Alan Cummins picks it up. Strong shoulder challenge from John O'Brien, a fair one. Teams John Motherway, and Fergal Ryan breaking out of defence. Ryan coming forward, trying to get the break off Flannery and Enright in there, and that he's done. Liam Meaney against Bill Hart, and getting back there is Pat Mahan. O'Keefe, he'll try and make life as difficult as he can for the Leishman, and he's done it, and he's given Alan Brown a chance here at the far side of the field. Niall Murphy going across with him. Brown, intelligent ball across the square, and Coakley's in there, and so too is Toomey. Coakley trying to get his shot in. Adrian Collin, and once again it's Brendan Kelly, and Kelly, well, he'll have to come some distance with this one and gets his clearance in. Once again, brilliant stuff. The UCC custodian finds Dave Bennett. Bennett in towards Dean. Jim Cashman, though, out first and finds Michael Harrington. Again, Harrington has loads of space, plenty time. But once again, well, he doesn't appear to be taking it on those extra few yards. The space was there in front of him. That's 2 now from Michael Harrington.
Yeah, they're shooting a few bad wides. Maybe it might be better to actually put a ball in front of Alan Brown, or in high on top of Alan Brown, because he's certainly meant to win that type of possession. But it's notes, the college have moved Joe Dean to centre forward. Obviously, Noel Keane was very much on top of that stage and put John Kingston in full forward.
Now looking for a score here, UCC, but just drifting to the right and wide from Eddie Enright. Well, there's still just 2 points in this game with 10 minutes to go to the break. And will that switch of Joe Dean reap dividends? Well, interesting to note as well that John Kingston is still playing at half forward. You'd feel, well, actually no, he has gone into, has he gone into full forward? He has, yes, just getting confused there with John O'Brien, who appears to be operating on the left half forward line. But Kingston has impressed in the 2 games since he returned from the States for UCC, and you feel perhaps that could be an interesting tactic indeed. And here he is on the ball, Kingston. Well, that'll be a fairer physical matchup, you feel, with Noel Keane. Kingston, the Tracton man, has got away here. He'll take his score, will he? Trying to curl that one in, and that he's done. Well, it's taken 20 minutes, but they have gone back to John Kingston into the full forward line, and as we said, he has impressed in that role in UCC in their last 2 games.
Yes, there's a good man in possession to put his head down and take her on for goal, you know. And I mean, Blackrock themselves will be happy enough with their defence the way they're playing at the moment. Jim Cashman is very, very solid as centre back as well, and using his experience as well as Fergal Ryan as well, and they'll be happy the way they're playing at this stage against a very strong breeze.
So a better physical presence in the UCC full forward line. The Blackrock have a physical presence of their own in Alan Brown, and he's looking inside here perhaps for an assist from Brian O'Keefe, and that he's going to get. Great chance, Alan Brown! It was on the cards, and it was made by Brian O'Keefe, but if he doesn't score them, he seems to make them. In jubilation down in the sideline from the Blackrock mentors. O'Keefe with the assist, and Alan Brown picking up the position. Great score, and a significant score, Tomas.
Yes, a great score for Blackrock, and again Brian O'Keefe getting inside his marker, but again has the presence of mind to actually take it on, and when the full back runs out, to hand pass inside to Alan Brown, and a pure great instinct goal by Alan Brown himself. But I give credit to Brian O'Keefe for all his work rate.
Well, nothing for once that Brendan Kelly could do about that one, as O'Keefe has it again. Well, he's really beginning to fire on all cylinders, Brian O'Keefe, and he's put that one over for his first score of the game. Well, 4-12 in the championship to date. You can now make it 4-13. Didn't play against Shandoon, of course, so it's 4-13 in a limited number of games. Now Cashman against Dean. Cashman, the winner, needs some help. Gets it in Michael Harrington. Harrington for Meany. Harrington took a knock as he laid that one off, and he stayed down, but Meany finds Colin. Nice short ball for Cummins. Has a look up. Strikes for his score. But to the right and wide again. But the advantage now certainly with Blackrock. They lead by 5 points. It's Blackrock 1-6. UCC 4 points. We've 23 minutes played at Porky Queeve. Well, early days, but of course yet, but the next couple of scores could prove vital. If Blackrock are to get them, they could pull away, as O'Keefe once again, well, they've moved Luke Mannix away from him. He was giving Mannix a torrid time. He's doing the same for Pat Mahan as Kelly out bravely. Well, he's lost it. Coakley, another chance, and Toomey down bravely. Coakley has it again, looking for another goal, but he's taken the point. Could have been a goal, but they won't mind, the Blackrock supporters. It's another point, and they've stretched their advantage to 6 now. Tomas, in the blink of an eye, they've pulled ahead. Yeah, and Sean Coakley's having a tremendous first half as well. I mean, everybody saw Dennis Toomey's performance against the McKillie in the semi-final and said that he was a fantastic player. He's now been switched over to mark Brian O'Keefe, and it's interesting enough to see that the full forward right now have come very much into the game for Blackrock as well as the half-hour line, and they seem to be dominating around most areas of the field. Now it's down for Brown again against Murphy. Murphy hasn't read that one well, but he'll stay there and he'll battle the Mungret man. Dan Murphy in there trying to assist. Coakley out again. Wild pull across him. Alan Brown, well, didn't realise he'd that much time and should have stuck that one over. Well, just having a few words there with Adrian Cole and Alan Brown. But that certainly is a good opportunity gone a begging. Well, Sean Coakley, as we said, it's his first start in this year's championship. He's certainly making the very most of it as Cummins goes up there with Flannery. It's beaten both of them. And coming in off the left-hand side is John O'Brien. He's lost out to Aidan Ryan. Ryan will look for Cummins, and Cummins gets his clearance in down towards the corner again, and it's Dennis Toomey who they've moved over now onto Brian O'Keefe, and O'Keefe is still trying to get the better of 2 UCC men over there. Bill Hart there as well, and Barry Hennebury trying to help out. Well, stalemate. Who's this one going to go the way of? It's Toomey getting back there. Well, he's got no stick. He had to kick it. It's come only as far as Hennebury, and Hennebury, well, another chance gone a begging. Not his favourite side, Barry Hennebury, but should have stuck that one over. Well, it's the third man they've put on Brian O'Keefe now, an indication really of who's doing the damage for Blackrock. Yeah, he's the dominant figure there in the first half period. But I mean, Blackrock, I know they're happy that things have gone well for them maybe in this first half period, but they've also missed a fair few opportunities that could have pushed them further ahead. Now Joe Dean just getting the break of the ball from Sherlock. Well, many pundits wondered would those two end up in direct opposition. We can tell you that they have, perhaps momentarily. On the far side of the field, it's Enright sending a brilliant ball in, and Barry forced to tip it over. Good score from Johnny Enright from an almost impossible angle. It's a score they needed. Perhaps that will settle them, and perhaps if they could get the next point or two, well, then we're back to a very close game, Tomas. Yes, I mean, they've brought Johnny out again, out on top of Fergal Ryan, and it was an excellent point from the left-hand side of the field, and they need a bit more penetration up front. They need to get involved in the game a lot more if they're going to actually break through on this Blackrock defence. Well, included in that switch is Dave Bennett onto Jim Cashman now on the 40. As the ball breaks once again for Meany, doing a lot of the little bits of work in there that often go unnoticed, but can prove match winning in the end. O'Keefe back for Cummins. Well, he's missed a couple so far, but I don't think he's going to miss this one, no. Alan Cummins with his first score, and well, UCC will score Blackrock. That's what you've got to do to keep the pressure on. Go down the other end of the field and get your point back, and that's what they've done. Brendan Kelly this time opting to go out towards the left towards John O'Brien. It just carried over him as far as Aidan Ryan, and Ryan has lost out to Bennett. Lovely sleight of hand from Bennett, and in that unmistakable style of his, will look to be dropping it over, but didn't quite catch it right, and Trevor Barry can clear down underneath us here towards Colin against Mannix. Cummins, lovely first time hurling inside towards Alan Brown, couldn't take it though, and Dennis Toomey, a 25-year-old medical science student formerly with UCC, of course, will get it in. Well, this UCC team is full of Fitzgibbon Cup winners, all 15 in fact, so they've been together quite a while. They've got a lot of experience in the college grade as they're trying to come forward again in the shape of Owen Bennett. Well, Kingston making life difficult for Keane. They're not going to let him out easy here. Kingston trying to get the ball into the hand, but it's Keane who does. and Keane gets his clearance in, only as far as Richie Flannery though. They need this point, UCC, but it's going left and wide, and Flannery holds his hands up. Well, knows perhaps he should have done better there. Richie Flannery had some space, but couldn't take advantage, and the gap is still at 6 points. Now Trevor Barry, well, he's been reaching the halfway line against the wind, and he's going to do that again. In fact, it's going to carry some 5-10 metres more. Luke Mannix in there along with Adrian Cole and Cummins as well. Well, the UCC, or rather the Blackrock midfielders, are just beginning to get on top here against their UCC counterparts as Fergal Ryan lobs that one in, but Bill Hart back there. Good play from the Argideen Rangers man, hooked though by Brian O'Keefe. Meany in to give a hand, and Barry Hennebury picks it up. He's got a lot of pace, loves to run on the outside, and will love the open spaces afforded to him here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Hennebury off the right hand side, off the post. Who's it going to break for? It's Luke Mannix first to react, and the Fermoy man gets his clearance in. Down below us once again, coming out to meet it is Enright, beaten though by Fergal Ryan, and good play there. And the UCC midfielder Eddie Enright just doing enough to put Fergal Ryan off his stride and win the line ball for UCC, just below our commentary position here. Only just a minute and a half of normal time remaining to the break, as Enright cuts a lovely looking ball in towards Kingston. It's broken for Owen Bennett, brilliantly hooked by Cashman. Back for Dave Bennett. Can the brother Bennett, the older brother, do better? He can't. It's gone left and wide. Well, Bennett doesn't agree, but doesn't protest too much. Another chance gone a begging. Well, neither side has been firing on all cylinders in front of the post, Tomas. We've seen a few chances missed.
And maybe in the last 2 or 3 minutes there, the college had 1 or 2 opportunities to maybe close the gap a little bit further, but there's still a long way maybe to go in this game yet, and we might see another few twists and changes, because they're coming back into the game a little bit more, to college. But as I said previously, Blackrock are hunting him in packs around the field. They're chasing them in all over the park, and any loose college man is being chased by maybe 2 Blackrock men.
Well, we can see it here. It's wonderful commitment from Cashman, the only man with a senior county title medal in the Blackrock side. They closed down Johnny Enright there, but now perhaps Dean in space. Sherlock going across with them. They know each other so well, but Dean has got the better of his Cork counterpart on this occasion. Turns inside, he's got no stick. He needs John Kingston here. He's got John Kingston and fires it over the bar. Well, could have gone for goal there, John Kingston, but I think took the right option, took his point. It's just one closer now to that Blackrock total for UCC.
Yeah, and that's a lot better from Joe Dean. Gets the ball outside the left wing, comes inside his marker, and even though he lost his hurl, he had the presence of mind to get the ball to John Kingston, and maybe there was a goal chance on there, and there's a good score and brings him a bit closer to Blackrock.
Well, John Motherway has had a look at the watch. I can tell you we've 5 seconds of injury time have just been played. We haven't had any stoppages, so we should be expecting the half-time whistle anytime soon, as Eddie Enright closed down by 2 men, and perhaps one final scoring opportunity of the half now for UCC. Well, the mentor is just telling them to hold it, but they've taken it quickly, and the 2 UCC men are the first out. Kingston, well, what a tonic it would be to get the final score for half-time. He's turned around 2 men here. Kingston going forward, chance for Owen Bennett. Can he take his score? Brilliant block down from John Brown, preventing a certain score there, and helped out by Fergal Ryan getting it clear. Mannix banning it down, but UCC still have a chance. It's Johnny Enright, and Enright takes his score. 2 points for Johnny Enright. A minute of time being added on at the end of the first half, and that could be the end of this first half. Tomas, good score from Enright.
Yeah, good score after a great block down by John Brown, where the ball came straight back out to Johnny Enright, and he made no mistake. But it's noticeable that John Kingston is beginning to make a bit of an impact in at full forward for the college.
He certainly is. There's the half-time whistle sounded by John Motherway at the half. It's Blackrock 1-8, UCC 7 points. Tomas, the crucial spell came in a 4-minute spell there, 17 minutes. That Brian O'Keefe shot, brilliantly saved by Kelly, but they did get their goal on 21 from Alan Brown, and you could say more or less that's what's separating the sides at half-time.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're playing against the breeze like that, there is a lot of space above in that half of the field, and Blackrock were intent on getting the ball in there as quickly as possible, and Brian O'Keefe, once he turns his marker, he's very, very quick off his feet, and over that 5 or 10 yard period, he left his marker for dead, and as the full-back came out, he had the presence of mind to throw the ball inside to Alan Brown, and he made no mistake, and that was a great tonic for Blackrock to get a goal like that against the breeze, against the wind, because they certainly were on top at that stage, and the scoreline reflects that at half-time. There's a long way to go in the second half period. The college in that 5-10 minute period just before half-time showed the signs that they were coming back into the game, showed the signs that we've seen in the last number of matches, because up to then they were at 6s and 7s, and they'll go in at half-time knowing that they've a big task on their hand at this stage, because They're certainly, with Blackrock and the wind to their backs, they're up against in the second half. But this is what the college team are made of, and I'm sure they're going to come out and give us a tremendous second half.
Yes, Tomas, we've spoken of it already. Of course, both these sides tend to have lull periods. We don't know if that'll happen in the second half. It could be an unpredictable second half, but whoever starts the next 10 minutes, start of the second half, will be crucial.
Well, if you look back in the championship matches to date, this is probably an unusual position for Blackrock to be going in at half-time leading. And most of the games in the championship, they've been trailing, and it's in the latter period of the second half that they've really come out on top. On the other side, College have always gone in leading in their matches. They're now behind, so they're all in different positions, in different situations. It just remains to be seen, Des, how they actually react in maybe the first 10-15 minutes of the second half period.
Yes, thanks to Moss. It promises to be an intriguing and wonderful second half of final championship hurling here. At the break, it's Blackrock who lead in a scoreline of 1-8 to 7 points. We'll be back with the second half of this TSB Senior Hurling Championship final in just a few moments. Well, UCC didn't take up too long with their half-time talk. Back in the field very quickly indeed, and followed by Blackrock. Well, Tomas, one point I'd just like to make to you here is back in 1963. I don't know if you quite remember that. I know I don't remember 1963, but it finished UCC 4-17, Blackrock 5-6. We're not going to get that, but will we get the same results, UCC or Blackrock?
I've said Blackrock from the outset, Des. I'm going to stick with them on the basis that they're in a good position now at half-time, and they have a bit of a good strong breeze behind them playing in the second half. But I'm sure College, they were very quick out of the field, as you said themselves. They now need no reminding. Like, they didn't have a very good first half by their own standards, and they'll be anxious to put that right in the second half period, and I'm sure we can expect a lot more from the College.
Well, they know they've 30 minutes, well, less than 30 minutes now if they're to pull this one out of the fire. Dave Bennett putting it into the corner. It's Joe Dean who's in there now, and Dean turning around Wayne Sherlock. Joe Dean, yes, that's the score. Less than a minute gone in the second half. That's better from Joe Dean, but just before we talk about that, Tomas, one switch made by UCC at the interval. James Murray is on at midfield, and we think it could be Pat Mahon who's gone off.
That's right, and obviously, I mean, they struggled that periods there in the first half in the middle of the park, and they had to make a change there, and it's noticeable at the start of the second half as well. They put Dave Bennett in on top of Jim Cashman, the centre back. Jim had a marvellous first half with Blackrock, and if the College are going to win this one, they're going to have to make inroads in there.
Now, John O'Brien, haven't seen much of O'Brien so far, and this one has his clearance blocked down. Aidan Ryan lobbing a decent ball in towards Alan Brown, took a knock on the head. Niall Murphy's there, and Murphy's got his clearance in. Brown still feeling the effects of that knock, as coming out to meet it is Eddie Enright. Eddie Enright, he's had a good battle with Michael Harrington. Harrington perhaps has shaded that one as Bennett tries to put the pressure on Jim Cashman, and he's done well here. Cashman unable to pick this one up. He's under pressure, forced to use the boot. That's gone out over the sideline, and well, temper's just beginning to fray. Jim Cashman perhaps a little late there with a swing on Dave Bennett, and Paddy Crowley in there separating the sides. Well, Paddy Crowley, a member, of course, the coach this year, but a member of the last UCC side to lift the county title back in 1970. And what a great day it would be for himself, Cathal Casey and Paul O'Connor, as the sideline ball is taken by Enright. Beautifully cut in, coming out to meet it is Kingston. Oh, lovely turn, a lot of pace. He's got round Fergal Ryan, difficult to do, but Ryan did just enough to get back, affect the half of a block down there, and that's gone wide. But good early moments in the second half for UCC, Tomas.
Yes, I mean, I expected that. I mean, they didn't play particularly well in the first half, and you'd expect the College to come out better in the second half, and it is noticeable the type of possession they're giving into Joe as well, and into John Kingston inside full forward. It's the low ball, and it has caused a few problems for the Blackrock defence at the start of the second half.
Now Alan Cummins doing well, sending it in towards Alan Brown. Brown has it in his hand, usually ends up in a score, and so it's proved once again. 1-1 now for Alan Brown, and it's now 1-9 to 8 points. And yes, as expected, Stefan Fitzpatrick has made his entry, Tomas.
Yes, and I mean, I'm surprised with maybe the first substitution. Stefan Fitzpatrick has played very, very well in their games to date, and he's a big addition to their side now in the start of the second half.
Yes, John O'Brien, the man to make way. Well, we said we hadn't seen much of O'Brien, and well, it's going to be Aidan Ryan against Stefan Fitzpatrick there. Fitzpatrick gone into the left half forward slot as UCC try and put on the pressure again. John Brown going back there against John Kingston. Well, Owen Bennett very close to getting the block down there, and Brown's pass. Noel Keane with a huge clearance there. You can see the difference Well, the wind, it may appear to be dying just slightly, but Keane can still puck it practically the length of the field. Now Bennett against Cashman. Well, Bennett certainly giving Jim Cashman an awful lot more problems than Joe Dean and John O'Brien did before him. But Cashman, well, true to the experience that he has, picks up all the right places. Murphy against Brown. Murphy looked to shepherd this one out. It won't make it though. But Alan Brown is the judge to have committed the foul on Niall Murphy. Well, just tried to let that one run the full back, but just held up in the pitch. And Alan Brown committing the foul when really there was no need to do so. The pressure was all on the UCC full back. And it's now given Brendan Kelly an opportunity to launch UCC into the Blackrock half of the field. Now the Ballincollig man, well, he too will reach more or less the halfway line. Going across, there's the substitute James Murray, but it's beaten him to the line. Line ball for Blackrock. Well, 2 changes then made by UCC, and will they prove effective? Paddy Crowley and co will be hoping so, as the sideline ball to be taken on the far side by Fergal Ryan, cut in absolutely wonderfully in towards Alan Brown. Murphy's there with him. O'Keefe, well, appeared to be held off there by Dennis Toomey. Referee has deemed it 6 of 1, half a dozen. As coming to meet it is Enright, survives a strong challenge from Cummins. That should be Fergal Ryan's ball going back there, but Owen Bennett is quick, and Bennett has done very well. Ryan though sticking to his guns, one of the best man markers in the business, Fergal Ryan, as he's proved in Cork's All-Ireland winning success. But there's some space here now for Johnny Enright. Nobody near him. Jim Cashman slow to make his way across. Enright knocking it across, but it's gone to the left and wide. Well, you feel if they're not going to make it with the breeze, the better option is to lob it in towards John Kingston in there, who could be causing a lot of problems for Noel Keane, and then perhaps Joe Dean with the breaking ball to Moss.
Yes, and that was a good chance for Johnny Enright. Plenty of time and plenty of space actually, but hits the ball harmlessly wide. And I mean, in a situation like that, what you're doing is giving a good free puck out to your keeper, and if he's going to launch it down at your half-hour line again.
Now Bennett, all brilliantly blocked down by Cashman. Well, Jim Cashman is certainly having a wonderful game for Blackrock. And at this stage it's going to be all about who can take their chances. There's not much in it. The gap is 4 points as Harrington's coming forward, sending a decent ball in, but Niall Murphy, well, he tried to get out there ahead of O'Keefe, and he's done well. Luke Mannix, or indeed it's Dennis Toomey back there, gets his clearance in only as far as Richie Flannery. Flannery, that's not a good one. It's come as far as Harrington. And Mahan, well, Mahan hasn't left the field. He'll look to let that one run, and it has on this occasion. Well, it's definitely going to be about who can take their chances now. And really, if we were to get a goal to Moss on either side, that could prove the crucial score.
Yes, and certainly Blackrock would be hoping that maybe in this next 10-15 minutes period that they would maybe perform a little bit better than what they're doing at the moment. Certainly College have come back more into the game and have missed a few opportunities, but have got 1 or 2 good points as well.
Well, Bennett once again not giving the shout that he had time. Cashman launching it in towards Alan Brown, but Niall Murphy certainly beginning to get the grips with Alan Brown in there, as 2 men take a tumble in the middle of the field. It's back with Bennett. He hasn't struck that one too well either. Dean against Sherlock. Sherlock will get there first, and he'll turn inside Stephane Fitzpatrick, and to the rousing cheers of the thousands of Blackrock supporters here today, gets it down towards Coakley, and Coakley at the second attempt has taken his point. 2 for Sean Coakley. His persistence paying off, getting the rebound there, and certainly justifying his inclusion today to Moss.
Yes, he's had a fantastic first appearance in the county final, but a bad mistake by Dave Bennett. Was 20 yards away from his marker there, Jim Cashman, but failed to hit a good shot in towards the goal, and Jim launched a big one down the field, and it broke to Sean Coakley in a great score.
Now O'Keefe against Toomey. Toomey wins the second ball between them. That's gone in there in this second half. Perhaps that's an omen for UCC, and a good omen at that, as Enright sends it in towards Kingston. Keane is there, and Keane proves the stronger along with Cashman. What an experienced and what a physically strong axis that is in the Blackrock defence. Lobbing it down, trying to get back there is Richie Flannery, and the Nina Air Oak man gets it out towards the far side of the field towards James Murray. Murray on towards Enright. Lovely turn around Fergal Ryan, and Enright trying to set his full forward line in motion again, but Sherlock reading it very well across ahead of Dean, and Sherlock gets his clearance in. First to read it though was Luke Mannix. Luke Mannix has done well, survives a heavy shoulder charge and gets it in towards Kingston. Likes to turn his man, Kingston. He's done it again on this occasion with 2 men there. John Brown affecting the block down, and Noel Keane with the clearance down towards Barry Hennebree. Hennebrie's been pretty quiet, but as we said, likes the open spaces, and look at him go, Barry Hennebree. Well, does he need support? He goes for his score across the face of the goal, and Pat Mahan, well, taking no chance crowd down there thought that one had been taken out over the line by Pat Mahan. Not given by the referee, and not a good ball from Mahan towards Luke Mannix. Alan Cummins, though, it's gone just across the goal. Good effort from Cummins, but just dragging it wide. But both sides unable to take their scores to Moss, and that will obviously be worrying UCC a lot more than Blackrock, who have a 5-point lead.
Yes, and great defensive play by John Brown there again. When John Kingston was on his way through, didn't need to foul him and waited for John Kingston to actually throw the ball up and knock the ball away from him, and that's very good defensive play.
Now James Murray going down on that one bravely. Enright in there battling, but there's 3 Blackrock defenders around him, and Cummins is the one who gets it out as far as Fergal Ryan, and Ryan with physical strength from the half back and sending a here, and Kelly once again to the rescue. Well, he may not have got much on it, but Brian O'Keefe's contact wasn't good, but they've got it back, Blackrock, and Liam Meaney looking for his 3rd score, but no, gone across the face of the goal once again. Well, a few anxious faces down below us from the UCC mentors. Liam Meaney, well, getting a lot of space there, and a selection of the crowd that have paid their way in to watch this one. Well, is it going to be Blackrock's 30th county title or just UCC's 3rd? It still remains to be seen. We've 10 minutes played in the second half here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh as Dean looks to get out ahead of Sherlock. John Brown back there covering, but Dean can pick this one up, or can he? No, Sherlock back again for a second bite. Indeed, it's Aidan Ryan there, and Ryan can get his clearance in, and they're certainly beginning to impose themselves now, the Blackrock full back line. Coakley looking for another score. Sean Coakley, oh, he's on fire. 3 points for Sean Coakley, but I'm sure Tomas on his way to the ground today, even he may not have envisaged it going this well.
No, and I mean, give him credit. I mean, he's a lively player, but he's obviously well able to take his scores again, and to get 3 points in this period of the match is very, very good indeed. But I mean, I'm sure the college have tried everything in their backline at this stage between Brian O'Keefe and Sean Coakley and Adrian Collin, and I think it's only a matter of time that Blackrock now will actually stretch the lead even further. Now
Niall Murphy doing well, but blocked down by Alan Brown. Brian O'Keefe, the other corner forward, gets it inside towards Brown. He'll look for a second goal. It looks, that's a penalty. Yes, given by John Motherway. A blatant foul by Niall Murphy. Well, they sensed the danger from Alan Brown, and Brown has proven, well, just how strong he is. Well, we've been handed the official attendance, almost blew away from me here. It's 10,097. Well, Tomas, you estimated 10,000. We'll give you to within 97. But this could be a crucial moment in the overall context of this county final.
Yes, I mean, it'll be an interesting decision. 6 points ahead, playing with the wind in the second half. Do you go for a goal, or do you hit the ball over the bar? I think the way Alan Cummins is lining up for it, certainly he's going to go for goal.
So Alan Cummins, 3 men on the line. Dan Murphy's there, Dennis Toomey and Brendan Kelly. Cummins with the wind behind him, steps up. Cummins saved again by Kelly. Well, you could almost write the script, the form he's been in, and it's gone out, I think, for a 65, or is it a free? I think it could be a free in, but the decision not clear yet.
It's gone for a clash ball, I think.
It's gone for a clash ball, yes.
Blow for a clash ball. But a great stop again by Brendan Kelly, and he showed again in that period what an excellent keeper he is. And I mean, maybe Blackrock at that stage, 6 points ahead, maybe wise to just hit the ball over the bar and put themselves another bit of daylight between themselves and UCC.
Well, the call must have gone in from the sideline, and had that one gone in, they'd been looking to finish out the game, I'm sure. Blackrock, it would have given them a significant advantage of 9 points, but as it is, it's still Blackrock 111, UCC 8 points, and the college certainly needs someone or something to spark them in the second half. Well, it's a time in all finals for the match winner, the potential men of the match, to stand up and be counted now. We wonder, will they come from Blackrock or will they come from UCC? At the moment, Blackrock have the advantage, and they look to be doing pretty well at the moment. Fergal Ryan sending that one across the field. Hennebury out quickly, and a good turn from Barry Hennebury, looking to get away from Richie Flannery, sending it in towards Alan Brown once again, dragged to the ground once again, but this time fairly. Teams John Motherway. Well, a dangerous game being played by Pat Mahan, trying to take on the whole Blackrock forward line. He's got away with it as Enright gets his clearance in. Kingston coming very deep, looking for it. It's only Michael Harrington getting it as far as Fergal Ryan. Ryan lobby it in. This looks like a very good ball indeed. Only as far as Brendan Kelly. Safe hands once again. And Kelly gets his clearance in over towards the far side of the field. Enright against Ryan. The breaking ball, they both lost it but Alan Cummins didn't, sending it in. Is it going to go wide? Mahon back there, Alan Brown doing well just to keep it in play, but they've lost it out again, the UCC full back line. And a lovely ball inside towards Brian O'Keefe, and O'Keefe, he's sent it wide, and that is a bad miss from Brian O'Keefe.
Yes, but it's a bad wide, but I mean, the Blackrock forwards are fighting very, very hard for every type of possession, to get every type of possession. Alan Brown there, when the ball seemed to be lost, he kept harassing away and won the ball back for Brian O'Keefe. It was a bad miss in the end.
Well, Dr. Paddy Crowley has gone walkabout. He's over the far side now, just trying to get the extra effort out of his team. Well, they've given it everything, but so far Blackrock have been doing the better. Foul committed there though by Michael Harrington on the substitute Stephane Fitzpatrick, and a chance now for Dave Bennett on the 65-metre line as the UCC supporters try and get behind their side. Bennett stepping up, striking it well. It's not going to carry though. Dean in there, but look how many Blackrock defenders are there, and Jim Cashman is the one to get it into his hand and to get the clearance in. Coming in onto it though is Eddie Enright. Liam Meany in hot pursuit. Enright gets it out towards the far side of the field, and James Murray has his effort blocked down. Comes off the legs of Dave Bennett, and a chance now for Johnny Enright. They need a score, UCC, but they're not going to get it. And Enright holds his head in his hands. Well, we're played half of the second half now. 15 minutes gone, just 15 minutes left. The gap is at 6 points to Moss. And do you see any way for UCC to overcome that?
Certainly, again, they've used the tactic of trying to isolate Joe Dean inside. This time he's with Wayne Sherlock, and John Kingston has moved away out the field, trying to take Noel Keane out of the square, because he's been the dominant factor in and around there with any breaking ball. And maybe that's their only chance of maybe getting back into the game if Joe can actually sneak a goal from at this stage. Well,
Noel Keane, like a true full-back, doesn't like to come too far away from that square, and he appears to be just sweeping in between the full-back and the centre-back at the moment. As Jim Cashman is over there, gets it back to John Brown. Solid, if unspectacular type of a game from John Brown so far. Alan Brown though out ahead of Niall Murphy. Brown will look to bring Michael Harrington into the game, and that he's done with a lovely pass. Harrington will need all the time in the world, and as a result he's put it over the bar. Well, he tried in the first half, Tomas, and it just goes to show, if you keep trying, you're going to get one of them, and Michael Harrington has extended the advantage to 7.
He may be guilty of a few misses in the first half, but that was a great score, and great play by Alan Brown again to actually make his presence felt in possession, but find this spare man when he ran himself into trouble. And it's now noticeable that all the forwards have scored, as well as the 2 midfielders.
Against Alan Brown again, he's lost out, needs some help, gets it from his fellow Ballincollig man and team captain Dennis Toomey. And Toomey out as far as Pat Mahon. Mahon up towards Johnny Enright, but not a good ball. That's gone out on the halfway line over the far side. And well, it's going to be a line ball to Blackrock, which Fergal Ryan will take. Just inside the UCC half of the field. So Fergal Ryan, he's sent in a few lovely sidelines towards Alan Brown so far. And this looks like being another beautiful ball in, but getting back there is James Murray, just doing enough and doing well to help out his fullback. And Luke Mannix, well, one-handed, didn't make any contact, but he's going to win the free, I think, here. And just appeared to be dragged down. Well, the referee's going to throw it in. And I think he may throw it in a second time here, John Motherway. A lot of bodies in there. And he'll try, I'm sure, to make some room for Liam Meany and Dan Murphy. And he's somehow managed it in the midst of all the bodies. It's Luke Mannix who picks it up and gets his clearance in, while UCC need to get down the field. They need to get a score of some description, be it a goal, be it a point, just to raise their confidence. Johnny Enright will leave that one for his brother Eddie. And well, he looked to take the quick one. A lot of calls going in from the sideline here. You can see Cathal Casey and Paddy Crowley down below me. And yes, it's going to be sent in towards the edge of the square. Dean going up, and well, just did enough there, John Brown, along with Wayne Sherlock. Well, what a formidable full-back line that is. If you're looking to get goals against Blackrock, you won't get them easily against the likes of Sherlock, Keane and John Brown. The aforementioned, he's in possession, and he drives the clearance long, and back there, well, it's John Kingston, who appears to be out around the middle of the field now. And Kingston setting off on a solo run, and look who's getting back there to meet him, Barry Hennebree and Brian O'Keefe. Well, it's real 15-man stuff now from Blackrock, everyone fighting for each other. That's what it takes to win a county, but UCC aren't going to give it up either. Bennett's blocked down. Richie Flannery into the corner. looking for Owen Bennett. Brown across first though, and Brown has done very well. John Brown striding out of defence, sows the dummy beautifully to James Murray and knocks it down the line towards Coakley, just escaping his grasp. And Dan Murphy over there, so too Pat Mahan. They see that out for a UCC sideline. Well, just over 10 minutes left, Tomas.
Yeah, they've made so many changes in the game. You've seen John Kingston now going back to left halfback, and you're actually seeing Richie Flannery going into centre forward and with Jim Cashman. It's a sign that they are struggling at this stage, and you just wonder if any of those switches is going to pay off at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly, Tomas. A lot, perhaps too many changes being made on the UCC side. Balance most surely has been affected as Dean and Sherlock has beaten them both. And well, just for a moment, Stephane Fitzpatrick was leaving it for Joe Dean. But in the better positions, Fitzpatrick showing excellent strength. He's going through here, Dean. They need a score, UCC. Strong shoulder from Fergal Ryan. Dean back for Fitzpatrick again, going forward, off the post from Stephane Fitzpatrick. And Jim Cashman is there for Blackrock to get his clearance in, down towards Harrington, battling there with Enright. Enright has done well. He's got support in Richie Flannery. Flannery turning it inside. It's drifting to the right and it's gone wide. But on such moments can games turn, Tomas, and you're beginning to sense it may not be UCC's day.
Yeah, I suppose that's the best bit of combination play we've seen from UCC today. A link up between Joe Dean and Stephane Fitzpatrick, and almost resulted in a goal for the college that they badly needed at that stage.
Well, John Murphy has come on for UCC, making his way towards the corner forward position. He's replacing Owen Bennett. Yet another change then for UCC. Let us remind you, 20 minutes gone in the second half. It's UCC 8 points, Blackrock 112, the gap is 7. As Trevor Barry launches the puck out down towards Meany. Dan Murphy doing well, batting it away one-handed. In there is Eddie Enright, getting his clearance in. Back there though is Fergal Ryan, back towards John Brown. Brown sending it, switching the direction of the play. Kingston climbing, and Kingston doing very well, but I'm sure they prefer him to be at the other end of the field, but needs must at this stage. He's been forced back on Barry Hennebury. Stephane Fitzpatrick battling with Aidan Ryan. Dave Bennett in there as well. Bennett has lost the stick. Michael Harrington hasn't, but his clearance only as far as Toomey. Helped on nicely by James Murray. But all the breaking balls, all the 50-50s just appear to be going the way of the men from Church Road. Coakley once again out in front of Mahan. Coakley sending it in off his right hand side. It's not going to carry. Kelly's there first. He looked to get away here from Alan Brown. Brown does very well though to charge it down, and he's got a 65 here. Wonderful persistence from Alan Brown, and it's appreciated by the Blackrock fans. Well, they haven't let them out easily. Great defence from the Blackrock forward line. That's a point you've made already, Tomas. The UCC full back line, they've been given nothing easy in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the forward's job as well, Des. I mean, if you're not in possession, you must actually harass your opponents coming out and make life difficult for them. And Alan Brown certainly today, Adrian Collin, Brian O'Keefe, every time a college guy has come out, Blackrock guys have actually stood with them and tried to block them and hook them, and this actually paid dividends, and they get a 65 out of pure persistence there by Alan Brown.
Well, Aidan Ryan has gone over to take this one, normally good for a point or two. Alan Brown pulling on that one, but Niall Murphy doing just enough to limit Brown's contact, and Brendan Kelly can get his clearance in. James Murray, well, it's got to be goals now, you feel, for UCC, and they need them quickly. John Murphy inside, needs a man in support, and he's got it. And Richie Flannery sending it in. Flannery looking for the point. He's not going to get it. Well, Tomas, we've 8 minutes left for play. The gap is at 7 points. Should they be going for goals now? Is it do or die?
Well, they've missed a few point scoring opportunities in the second half, and there doesn't seem to be any pattern to their play. I mean, they're trying to score from impossible angles, and maybe certainly the ball in the front of Joe Dean, who has been very, very quiet in this game, will pay dividends for them, because they're not even getting their points at this stage, Des.
Now Liam Meany coming on to this one. He'll look to extend Blackrock's advantage here. Coakley, he's looking for his fourth, and he's got it. Well, that full forward line for Blackrock has made an immense contribution. Brian O'Keefe, Alan Brown and Sean Coakley, between them they've scored 1 goal and 6 points. And this man Harrington, well, he's got one. He's got the taste for scoring now, I'm sure. He'll come forward looking for another. Well, unorthodox to say the least. Kelly forced to bat it away. O'Keefe in there with Toomey. O'Keefe shows the superior strength. Good block down though. Well, UCC, as we said, well, getting nothing easy, but on that occasion they've got the free. Foul committed by Brian O'Keefe, and just a nod of the head from O'Keefe Knows perhaps there was no need to commit the foul in there, but he's won it, and Dennis Toomey will take 7 minutes, less than 7 minutes of normal time remaining. Toomey's free. Well, not the best of them. Barry Hennebury coming back, trying to pick it up with him though is Richie Flannery, rather Stephane Fitzpatrick. And look how far, well, it's as far as Noel Keane has come in the game, and is he going to go over the halfway line? He is. Well, Blackrock all wanting to get in on the act now. Noel Keane fancying his chances too. Well, there's confidence now in that UCC backline, so much so they can afford to come forward, and here they come again. It's Fergal Ryan showing a clean pair of heels to James Murray and to Richie Flannery. And when he needs support, he's got it in Sean Coakley. Well, is it another? It is. Unbelievable. Well, Canon O'Brien and his fellow selectors appear to have worked the oracle again with Sean Coakley, Tomas.
Yes, I suppose when the team was picked or read out, I mean, maybe a lot of people questioned the wisdom of starting a guy like Sean Coakley, but it certainly has been dividend today, and to score 5 points in the county final is some feat, and the game isn't over yet.
And none of them, let us remind you, from place balls from Sean Coakley, as Alan Brown gets it in his hand, and Murphy, well, call it a professional foul, really. Knew that Alan Brown would have been in and goal. He's going to go in John Motherway's little black book here, you feel. An easy opportunity then. Free for Blackrock. And really, if this one goes over, that will extend the gap to 10 points. And it'll be Blackrock's 30th county title, you feel. Alan Brown, yes, sends that one over the bar. 1-2 for Alan Brown. Blackrock's advantage now, 115 to 8 points. Well, a lot was made about the scoring prowess of the UCC forwards, Tomas, but they really have met their match here in the Blackrock defence this afternoon.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys have proved their mettle all year, with Cork especially as well, and they've given an exceptional performance today. And if you throw in the likes of Jim Cashman and Noel Keane, it's a very formidable half backline and backline in general, and that's the launching pad for Blackrock's victory today. And again, their forwards have taken their chances very well. Maybe at the start of the year they had a bit of luck to get themselves to a county final, but they seem to have kept the best wine until last at this stage, Des.
Well, you know what they say, you make your own luck in these games, and so it's proven. The free to be taken by Pat Mahan on the far side for UCC. We're into the final 4 minutes of normal time as Fergal Ryan, it's an excellent clearance in down towards Barry Hennebury. Kingston's back there with him. I'm sure he won't have envisaged himself playing the half-back line at the start of this game, but so it's proven as Dan Murphy gets it as far as Luke Mannix, sending it in once again towards his forward line. But Cashman there once again, well, he may not have that yard of pace that he had before, but his experience appears to be paying dividends. Brian O'Keefe, this will sew it up. Brian O'Keefe, he's got the goal. It's all over, and Blackrock are on their way to their 30th county title. Well, we said at the start he's good for a goal, Tomas, and it may have taken until the 27th minute of the second half, but he's got it.
Yes, and throughout the course of the game, Brian O'Keefe certainly deserved a score like that. But again, a great play, positional sense by Jim Cashman, and launched a great ball down the field that went in behind the defenders, and Brian O'Keefe was very, very quick to react.
Well, here they come again. It's Barry Hennebury taking advantage of the open spaces, and Hennebury knocks over another. Well, it's the icing on the cake now from Blackrock. They're really beginning to pile on the scores. Well, they scored 9 goals and 59 points in 4 games, 216 in a final. Well, it's some return. Fergal Ryan coming forward on the halfway line, sending a ball in towards Alan Brown. And well, it's all going right now. They're coming, they're looking for another goal. And it's coming as well. Well, the UCC heads have dropped. And really, it's a question now of how many for Blackrock. It's another goal, 316, and they're turning on the style.
Yes, Des, and I'm sure a lot of the college guys will be looking for a full-time whistle now quickly, because it's a rout at this stage, and Blackrock really are turning on the style, and to champagne style hurling at this stage, to be scoring 316 in a county final is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great finish there by Alan Brown. Jim Cashman, well, he has been absolutely immense at centre half back for Blackrock. He may not be the captain, but he's led them in style back there. And look, they're not giving anything up, and Dave Bennett, well, the frustration of the day just getting to the Lismore man. Strong challenge on Barry Hennebury, and just you can see Dave Bennett apologise for that as Hennebury trots past. Well, it's been a chastening experience for the students of UCC, but they've so much talent in this side. I'm sure their day will come again, but today is most definitely the day of the men for from Blackrock. They've waited long enough for it. And the free has gone the way of UCC here. But as we say, they've waited long enough for it. And they're just beginning maybe to introduce a few substitutes here. We can see getting ready to come in is Declan O'Sullivan, and lucky not to start as well. But they're going to enjoy the last few moments here, Tomas.
Yes, they certainly are. And I mean, Declan O'Sullivan maybe would feel unlucky that he was left out of the team. Gets this opportunity to come in now. There's another guy as mentioned in the programme there, John O'Flynn, who has been sick for the last number of weeks, and he's added in their substitute list today, and it's great to see him back in the panel.
Well, it's all going the way of Blackrock at the moment. From our vantage position, Barry Henneby's point just perhaps to be an inch or two wide, but that too was given as over. It'll make no difference at this stage as they're ringing the changes, and Sean Coakley is going to come off to an arousing ovation here, and does he deserve it? Can see him take the applause here from the fans, and Brian O'Keefe makes way as well. Well, I don't think, regardless of what club or what side would have won the county final today, would we have seen scenes like this. David Dempsey is on, he too deserves it, so too Noel O'Leary. They've all played their part in their championship campaign, and they deserve to see out the last few minutes here. Well, we're moving into time being added on now. There won't be too much of that. The result, of course, well, it's been decided for the last 10-12 minutes. The Blackrock supporters are behind the goals, away to our right, behind Brendan Kelly's goal. Well, we saw a scene similar to this last year, Tomas, with Bantry Blues, when they brought their supporters onto the field. It meant an awful lot to them. It'll mean just as much to the men and the supporters from Blackrock.
It's been 1985 since their last victory, and it's terrific for the youngsters below in Blackrock. I mean, to see their team winning the county championship, and there's a lot of credit due to the team of Canon O'Brien and his selectors. They put in all the effort down through the last number of months, and they're rewarded today with a fantastic performance, and certainly Blackrock kept their very, very best performance for county final day.
Well, they certainly did. The referee has blown the final whistle, as you may have seen, and let the pitch invasion begin. They've waited so long, 1985, but they've won their 30th county title. Well, it was still in the balance at half-time, Tomas, but in the second half, what a performance, as they've done all year, Blackrock.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying in the balance at half-time, but to be honest, Blackrock were so far ahead in the first half period as well. They could have been further ahead at half-time, and had a few goal opportunities as well. And I suppose the key thing for me in this game is that Blackrock started this game so well. I mean, in the past number of games that they played, they failed to start the game well, and today this was an exceptional performance, and they had a number of stars out there today, I suppose. I mean, the likes of Sean Coakley, what a baptism of fire in a county final to score 5 points from play. But they had very, very experienced players, Jim Cashman, the Noel Keanes of this world. Their midfield pairing, Alan Cummins, Michael Harrington, hit an awful lot of ball, and then they had the experience of Brian O'Keefe and Alan Brown up front, and certainly caused an awful lot of hassle and havoc for UCC. And I suppose at the end of the day, UCD, you've got to be fair to them. They tried everything, tried to make positional changes, tactical changes, moving Jodine in out of the full forward line, but it didn't work, and I don't think they can have any complaints at the end of the day.
They certainly can. Well, you can tell the Blackrock backroom team, they certainly did their homework on this UCC side, and it's reaped dividends. Well, we can see Joe Dean in there. Well, he's had a good year, no county title for him, but there's a lot of time still to come for him, of course. He'll be back, we're not sure in whose colours next year, possibly in McKilly's, of course. We see a lot more of the players down there, but the Blackrock supporters, they've come to these games for so long, Tomas, since 1985. They've given it everything. We see Sean Coakley in there. Well, it's almost hero status for him at the moment, but a word for the supporters. They've been there through thick and thin every year, and finally it's a day for them as well.
I suppose, I mean, the question they say you got to lose a county final before you win one, and for a lot of these players, they had the experience last year of losing against the McKilly, but I mean, maybe started the year they made up their minds that they weren't going to taste defeat again, and certainly they've reaped those benefits today, because it was a very, very polished performance, and a lot of credit, I say, goes to the team itself. But I mean, I suppose you look at their backroom staff, these are the guys that made the decisions, these are the guys that picked the likes of Sean Coakley from the start today, and it actually worked. And I mean, you've got to take your hat off to these guys, and they're the people that make the brave decisions at the end of the day, and it worked well from today.
Well, Tomas, in the build up to this game, we were out in Church Road, of course, and we saw that it was sort of a steely resolve on behalf of Wayne Sherlock, Fergal Ryan, guys who've won All-Ireland medals this year, but this is the one they really, really wanted. It was a county title. Yeah,
it's been a fantastic year for those lads, and I mean, I will always say that your stars of tomorrow come from your clubs, and I mean, these guys have been great stalwarts for the county team this year, but also they've shown themselves for Blackrock that they've actually put in the effort with Blackrock themselves. Even though they've won an All-Ireland medal, they've gone away and they've knuckled down to training, and I'm sure they're going to cherish this county medal as well, just as any other member of the team.
Well, thanks very much, Tomas. We've had a superb day today here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Superb, especially if you're a Blackrock supporter. The the final score: Blackrock 317, UCC 8 points. Blackrock have won their 30th county title, and we're going to have some night in Church Road tonight. Well, Noel Keane, what a proud captain. Well, he may not be a traditional Cork man, Tomas, but he's embedded himself so well in the Blackrock ranks. He was a colossus all through the year, and what a moment it's going to be for him.
It's a very proud moment to be captain of any side, and I mean, he led by example. I certainly gave a lot of leadership out there today, and I mean, when you go up the steps and grab the cup, it's a great feeling, and I'm sure it's one that he's going to be very proud of for a long time to come.
Well, Brian Barrett up there just thanking those who need to be thanked, but I'm sure Noel Keane, you can see it in his eyes, he just wants to get his hands on the Sean Ogue Murphy Cup. But we caught a glimpse of some of the other players down there, and the whole occasion now will get to them. You know, they've put in the training over the year, they've battled so hard, and now, well, it's all worth it. They'll take those laps, they'll take those sprints, they'll take anything as long as this is the end result.
Well, I mean, this is what about this. I mean, this is the finale of a lot of hard work, as you said, right? And when you get to this situation, right, I mean, you forget about everything. I mean, it's such a great feeling, and I'm sure the younger players in the Blackrock scene, I mean, that have only been introduced in the team the last year or so, will look at this and they say to themselves, God, we could be here to stay for another while yet, because they certainly have young members on their team that show today that they have quality players and they're very, very good hurlers.
Absolutely. Well, we see the players up there. Well, they've been tipped as perhaps county final winners every year for the last so many years, and finally it's bore fruition. Finally, it's almost like you know, the whole thing has come to an end now. They can finally see the cup in front of them. Noel Keane is going to accept it, but there's so many people to be thanked, and I'm sure they'll run through the whole backroom team. You mentioned them earlier on. They may not be up there picking up the cup, they may not have been on the field, but they deserve so much credit out there.
Yeah, and I mean, Canon O'Brien, I mean, he's down there as trainer of the team. He's had fantastic success down through the years with Blackrock, and again, he's here leading them to another county title, and the man has a fantastic record. The selectors that are there involved with them as well will take a lot of credit as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, they'll probably say themselves that it's the players that put in the hard work, it's the players that make the commitment first and sacrifices for training, and they are going to reap the rewards of that, and maybe rightly so. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably a team effort. I mean, everybody in Blackrock will have contributed to this. The guys that are working in the underage section of the club that are bringing players through the ranks, it's a victory for every one of those, and all the hard work that they've done through the years. And I'm sure going down to Lancash tonight, there's going to be massive celebrations.
Well, you can see they're looking to call someone up from the crowd. I'm not quite sure who it is, but I'm sure if they had their way, the whole of Blackrock will be up there picking up the cup now at this stage. But it's only a matter of seconds now before Noel Keane does get it. He's going to be a very, very proud captain indeed. You can see Brian O'Keefe in there. Trevor Barry, he'll be happy, of course, to have kept a clean sheet as well. Well, Brendan Kelly may have made the more significant saves in the game, but Trevor Barry is a rock back there, and he really inspires those in front of him too.
Well, maybe he didn't get so many shots to save today, but I mean, we just go back to the Bars game. Trevor Barry made some excellent saves in the game that were very crucial, and he'll take a lot of credit for that.
So here we go, the moment the whole of Blackrock has waited 15 years for. Noel Keane has got his hands on the Sean Ogue Murphy Cup. Blackrock, the 1999 TSB Senior Hurling Champions, the last champions of the millennium, and what a day they've had, and I'm sure the celebrations will go on for quite a while. There's the Canon Michael O'Brien, but I'm sure he'll have a few words to say to us afterwards. But as the cup is being passed down along the line, but I'm sure whoever gets it last won't want to release it. But it's going to be some weekends, some weeks, some few months for them, I'm sure, until they go back training again. The party will continue.
Yes, the party will continue, I suppose, but I mean, and rightly so as well. I mean, we're into kind of early November at this stage. I'm sure there's going to be a good few weeks up to Christmas out of this cup, and they'll be back, I'm sure, training for Munster Club Championship, and hopefully they'll do Cork proud in that championship as well.
Michael O'Brien. Well deserved. Well, the songs are going to start now. God knows when they're going to finish. But that's it from us here in the Sports Night Special at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Let us remind you the final score in the TSB Senior Hurling Final. Blackrock 317, UCC 8 points. From all of us here, a very good night. Well, Jim Cashman, the obvious question, what a great day for Blackrock.
Yeah, it was a great occasion for Blackrock today. It was we were trying for the last 3 years. We got the semi-final and the final, and so disappointing last year. It was great. Like it's just it's a dream come true really now today. So.
And man of the match yourself?
Yeah, thanks to a few of my friends there. So it was really a team. More or less the whole team played well today, which was great.
Yeah. Still close at half time, but really everything clicked. It couldn't have gone much better in that second half.
No, well, for the start of the year there, we were down a lot of points in championship matches. And for the first time this year, really, but like it was just we were a few points up at half time, so we didn't know what.
We noticed from the commentary positions that UCC changed around, tried to make an impact. He kept your players in the same position every time. He just kept your formation and played right through to the end.
Yeah, but there's a good panel there. There's the 4 lads in the Cork team are a good plus to us. Like in there, like they've been so successful this year. Brought it onto ourselves then, and it was just great, really. You know?
Yeah. If we take last year, do you appear to like finals? Because 1985 man of the match as well.
Yeah, I was only 20 then. I didn't realise it, but at 34 now, it's fantastic, really. You know?
Yeah. What exactly does it mean to at this stage of your career to win a county title?
Well, I finished with Cork there in '85, and I had an eye injury there, and just to come back now and just win a county medal is just kind of. With Cork and the whole, it's just a dream come true, really, enough, you know.
Yeah, no county title, of course, since '85. I think we saw at the final whistle exactly what it means to the people of Blackrock.
Yeah, like '85, and like there's been a team rebuilding there for a few years, and like this current crop of players, like they're a good bunch of young fellas, really, apart from myself, who's the oldest. But that's great, really, you know.
Yeah, you hinted at it there, of course, after the disappointment of last year. This was really in the mind that it wasn't going to happen again, obviously.
Well, you don't go out with intentions of like we only got 1 point from playing last year. And we didn't do ourselves justice, really, like, you know. And we were afraid of like playing against them in today, not to get more than a point. Like so, we got a few scores today, like, which was a bonus.
You did. You got a nice few scores. Great celebrations there at the final whistle. I'd imagine they could go on for a while.
I hope so. I know it's great though. It's great for Blackrock because it's like I said, it's '85 since we won a county championship, and it's important for Blackrock, really, you know.